All right. How's everyone doing? I'm hoping that we get a little bit of a showing before we start. Because this is definitely some of the most interesting stuff that I've seen in a while.
Why is your ignorant farmer winking at me?
We may never know. I really should swap him out for our big old spider buddy. So I've also got another reason for just being on the screen right now, because I am actually eating some dinner. So yeah, this is Pillars of Eternity 2 again, as you'd expect. I was actually looking at how much time we've spent on this game, and it's over 100 hours now. I think we're at 106 total. Considering that we're doing the DLC and the next quest is apparently the end of the game. Yeah, I think we're on schedule. I very much suspect that we're probably going to hit 105 or 150 again. Apparently, Pillars of Eternity 1 was 145. And that was with me going back to finish the DLC after I had already finished the game. And then finishing the game again at a much higher level, so we just crushed the final boss. He still really wrecked us a couple times. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Last time we ended up finding some forbidden knowledge. We also fought a whole lot of things. I really just want to see what WoW's Colossus form looks like. Because all this time, we've been just sort of meandering about, and we've seen a surprising lack of tentacles aside from the tentacles in the main room. So I was hoping we'd see more of that and see what they were attached to as we went down, but so far we haven't. But yeah, also something that I hope everyone noticed. Oh, damn it, hold up.
Keeping an eye out.
I always forget to do this. Where is it? Where the heck is it? Voice and video, not voice and video, it's streamer mode. Wait, hold up. Nope, nope, that did not work. Game overlay, streamer mode, here we are. Okay, no, that did work. Fantastic. So hopefully we're going to... This is actually a really small map. Is there anything back here? We're going to do a little bit of exploration before we go downwards again. But we will be going downwards. There are two staircases that we can use. One of them, I assume, is harder or worse in some way. Oh, you know what? I bet there's some sort of secret entrance because there's something here in the middle of the map that I haven't seen, but I don't know what that secret entrance could be.
Keeping an eye out.
Hmm. Okay, central stacks, central stacks. Those both go down to the central stacks. We're gonna take the one that was harder to get to because it had a mini boss guarding it, and that usually implies that for some reason it was better guarded. And it also had a puzzle guarding it that required clearing out pretty much the rest of the dungeon. So we're going down this way.
What do you suppose that bally thing is?
That was a concussion to almost every member of the party. Looks like Aloth lucked out. That's really good.
Sure. Nice and slow.
Okay, that's some armor right there. That's also some armor. Which makes me wonder what the hell. Oh, Jesus, Jesus. Ow! The remains of Lucalla, Watcher of Pizzala.
Right.
Crave something you need. Miss Meatum.
Okay, so we're in combat. That's not great. I really need to get out and rest because that was bad. That was double plus bad right there. Actually, up all of your defenses. Okay, now cast your thing. She's got so many defenses on her.
Huh?
Okay, so the enchanted armors woke up from all the traps sparking, I assume. These don't have resistance. Okay, yeah, they don't have immunity to anything. They don't even have any resistance to anything, which means that all of our ability to kill them is going to be actually pretty nice. Do we... You know what? I might use some scrolls here. I forgot we had Blessed Incense.
Something I can do?
Yeah, since we're going to rest anyway. Go ahead and pull them in. And what we're going to do is use Adair as the distraction. And since they're attached to Adair now...
I'm on it.
Oh?
Fireball.
We were friends.
Oh, don't worry. We are. You're just able to take those.
Happy to oblige.
He'll be fine. Do I want to use AoE spells? We'll use the AoE spells. Sorry, Adair. We'll heal you up afterwards. You can also take an injury if you need to. Let's see here. I really do wish Pain's Chaotic Orb sounds great.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's casting.
Aye.
I don't know what she cast. Arduous Delay of Motion, apparently. That's pretty good. Do we want to just hit him with another fireball? Just hit him with another... That didn't really seem to help, actually. Death Ring does a fuck ton.
That looks complicated.
It does look complicated, doesn't it? However, you are a rogue and can do this. I really should use Death Ring more often. It doesn't hurt allies,
Let's go.
which makes it absolutely amazing. Okay, this is great. Okay, less great that it went to that one. God, that spell is powerful.
Yeah? May I be a candle in the night.
Like, seriously, wow.
Yes?
Every time I cast it, it just turns a bad situation into a completely doable situation.
Yeah.
Every single time. Except the one time it killed me. But you know what? I deserved that. Alright, we're resting.
Aye.
We all have way too many injuries right now.
Of course.
Yep, as expected. Alright.
Ever wonder what happened to your old pets, Watcher?
He always does it just as I rest. I don't know why. Seems weird.
Oh?
How much money do we have? We've been picking up money this whole time. 20,000, not too bad.
Steady does it.
Yeah, this is gonna be real hard. With all the traps in the area. Watcher of Yarma lost at sea, 2767. Interesting. What are these? What's all this to do with the Watchers?
That could have gone better. A quick rest would help if you don't mind.
I do. Shit. These traps are really high level. Because we don't really have anyone with high mechanics in the
Let's
party,
take a look.
they're a bit rougher than I would like. The Guardians of Osa Shrine, holding the Watcher Harutu, be rusted armor, Garden of Light. Rusted armor is just real good, no matter who
What
it's
do you
on.
suppose that bally thing is?
Can we disarm it? No.
Did you know you reek of that hagfish you carry? Dispose of it at once.
Why is so much information about Watchers here? Great Maelstrom.
Oh, of course.
I think he's got the highest perception out of all of us. Hold up. Yep. He's got a 17. Yeah, he's got the highest perception out of all of us, so he should be able to see a trap before he steps on one. Okay, that was an armor. Remains of the Steward of Cadnua, retainer of the Watcher of Cadnua. We found the rest of our throne. Holy shit. The hell do you think the odds are of that? Wait. Okay, these guys aren't hostile.
Sure.
The Oracle sees all. This plaque has been defaced. Chief Librarian.
Every vestige of their identity has been forgotten, right down to the bone.
I wonder how they tell each other apart.
Good question. Maybe they don't. I take it we're gonna need this.
How may I help?
Seal Miss Meatum.
Incantations of the hand, of course. Oh god, these guys are triple skulls. Or at least that one is. Pooh! Alan, I'm gonna actually delay your turn and see what this guy does. Fantastic. That's exactly what I was hoping he wouldn't do. Activate all of the buffs. Oh.
Yeah.
We don't really have anything good right now. I could paralyze things, but that's about it. Just run over and whack them, I guess. Ah, poo. Okay, they're all triple skulls. These librarians are really dangerous.
Something I can do?
Brilliant.
What can I do you for?
Well, now you're a really smart pig. Go ahead and get this on everyone.
How may I help?
Oh?
Oh, okay. Right. Aloth has the highest initiative of the entire party
Not exactly
because of his
my area of expertise.
high perception. Well, I'm glad they're shooting him.
Something you need?
Steadfast, smart, fantastic. This is all very good to me. Go ahead and steal something from that guy. I don't know what the librarian, what class the librarians are, but I think it's something that's actually pretty beneficial for her.
What do you need?
So these guys, yeah, these guys have no armor rating.
Yeah?
And still we graze. Still we graze. Can I? Okay, I gotta ask, can you get negative armor rating?
Candied nuts.
Nope.
Pardon me as I indulge myself.
You cannot, in fact, get negative armor rating. That's good to know. Tain's Chaotic Orb on that librarian over there. Please. It amuses me that the pigs attack at air.
Something I can do?
Yeah, actually. You wanna... Well, actually... Yeah, just knock that guy down. He's in a better spot there anyway. We can kill this librarian quickly.
Aothas will take what remains of your soul.
Right. Devotions of the Faithful is accuracy and might bonus. Actually, move a little bit closer and then cast it. That way you can get hit by it too. We're using the minimum size so that we have more spells to use. Since it's using one spell slot less.
Aye.
Alright.
These uns are in for a walloping.
What do you need?
No. Stop that.
Happy to oblige.
How much armor do these? Yeah, they've only got 6 anyway, so turning them into a pig it just stops them from casting spells. That's not the worst thing in the world. Okay, what buffs do we have? Meditation, minor arcane reflection.
I was chewing through Cadnua's foundation long before Aothas finished the job.
Wait. Okay, and we do have Crown of the Faithful for 6 rounds. Do we have one more spell that we can do? I think we should have Holy Meditation. Granting the Resolute Inspiration. That's all it does. Okay, fantastic. We already have that. So let's just go ahead and do this. Now everyone's got that for pretty much the rest of combat.
Take him down.
All right, that should kill him.
Yeah? Sure.
I didn't expect those ones to die so fast.
Happy to oblige.
Stop that. I was expecting a harder combat with 3 skulls, but these guys just die so fast.
Something I can do?
Aim Spirente. Someone has scrawled the lyrics to a traditional sailor shanty on this ragged scrap of paper. It is a fine three-master, thin like a bird. Heave ho, aim Spirente. Of Captain Parfito never said a hard word as we sail our troubles away. Hold fast the helm, hold fast the wind. Heave ho, I'm Sprinte. On Dra's grace, or we'll all be skinned. As we sail drown the dead fire away. We've gone away long, left our loves behind. Heave ho, I'm Sprinte. It caused me a sorrow most unkind, while crossing down a dead fire way. They say in dead fire the luminous grows. Heave ho, I'm Spirente. And so that's where our brave ship goes, to make our fortunes one day. The next day on sail we back with cheers. Heave ho, I'm Spirente. On Spirento fair, we see our dears, and shower them with 2 months' pay. Hold fast the course, hold fast the waves. Heave ho, I'm Spirente. We don't wind up in salty graves. We'll come back to Spirento someday. It is a fine three-master, thin like a bird. Heave ho, I'm Spirente. Of Captain Parfito never said a hard word as we sail our troubles away. Fun. I do like sea shanties.
Yeah, right away.
I don't know if anyone can tell. Artec. Handicle.
I'll be your lookout.
Yes?
You will not be our lookout because you are not nearly as perceptive as Aloth. The Temple of Revel. Oh! Oh, this is where we... Oh. Okay. So there's the Chief Librarian statue that we just took the
Yes.
book from.
Yeah? Yeah, right. Hey.
And then there's the restricted sections here. Then there's all that info about the Watchers. Why are they so interested in the Watchers?
Cut it out, Botso!
I'm gonna rest. Ow. Here you go, Editor.
This cannot last, you know.
An uninfested cat. Catalog record, Warden contract. This time, Time Worn sheet of parchment paper appears to detail the updated location of a contract within the archives. The agreement concerning our wardens in the collections has been identified as a prime candidate for duplication due to its advanced age. Due to its advancement age. It waits its turn with the handless scribe.
What do you suppose that bally thing is?
Catalog record, illuminated manuscript. This crisp parchment scroll appears to detail the archive's recent acquisition of a manuscript of significant value. Another book found its way in, flapped right up from the depths like a gilded pigeon. Where do they come from? The walls? But I just patched the hole in the Temple of Revelation, and the chief librarian says that she's stopped collecting abandoned books from the sidewalks of Nekataka. Certainly the spores haven't learned to write. It's interesting. Catalog record, Bikarna's Celestial Grimoire. Hey! This spore-stained parchment appears to detail the updated location of an unusual grimoire within the archives. One of the collection's recently acquired works was found to be in the possession of a grimoire containing an alarming variety of astronomical heresies. It has been remanded to the quarantine section of the archives for safekeeping. Gonna have to pick that up. Does it say that it's a Diablo 2 stream? Or is that more just talking about how everyone seems to be streaming Diablo 2 right now? I have been wondering where everyone is. Actually, that does explain a lot. New game release, everyone wants to see what it looks like. You missed some phenomenal singing, Level. How you doing? It does say Pillars of Eternity. Fantastic. I didn't F up and put in Diablo 2 somehow. Don't even know how I would have done that. Catalog records. Memoirs of Heldir. Updated location of a book within the archives. In response to Wyke Helder's recent leave of absence, her incomplete memoirs have been reallocated to the study in the oratory and will remain there until such time as she completes them or her body is found. Hey! Cleansing Flame is a really good spell. This time-worn parchment scroll appears to detail the updated location of a construct instruction manual within the archives. The chief librarian caught none of the wardens poring over the manual for the construct controller. Under absolutely no circumstances should they be provided access to such advanced technology. The manual has been reallocated to the circulating library in the central stacks. Ah, that one.
Of course. Hey.
So what's going on with you, dude? What were you last streaming? I was in yesterday. It wasn't Dragon Quest, I know that. I'm gonna send Al off forward. He's the one that can see this shit. The deep gouges, dried goblets of slobber, and fractured lock on this chest suggest several things, all of them unfortunate. Ew. Something broken. Oh, right.
Oh,
yeah, you were doing Like a Dragon. How have you been enjoying other Dragon Quest? I swear, you are just tied to that game hook, line, and sinker. I realize I got my metaphors mixed up. What you gonna do about it?
It's not my time yet.
God damn it. Jyoti, you had one job,
Yes?
and that was to not step on the trap. Whatever.
Oh?
The only thing traps really cost me these days is, what do you call it? Rest time.
This indignity will not go unanswered.
It's fun. Nice. How far in are you at this point? Okay, so these librarians are very much alive. Somehow. I don't even know how. What did we get? We got a book. We got a quest item. The Incantations of the Hand. This book contains a litany of incantations meant for the members of the Hand occult to use in the course of their work. It includes a series of chants meant to attract the evil eye, close doors, and abjure conjured objects, and instructions for the summoning of numinous sound that gives the listener a permanent ringing in their ear. One enchantment of particular interest is meant to be applied to locks. It makes them appear increasingly complex the more they are tinkered with. Interesting. That's a nasty thing. I am going to go ahead and give this over to our friend here. Because I feel like she's not really that useful to the team right now. But she could be more useful.
Indeed.
Okay. Also, you'll pardon my random pauses, as I have food that I am slowly eating my way through as we stream. Oh my god. I've been staring at the fire. No one told me. No one told me. Well, this stream is a bust. How long was I going? For almost 20 minutes. Subject P07-706 broke free of its cell and made a slow progress towards other parts of the facility. We cannot cross from one end of the library to another without spores dusting our robes from some unseen limb of the colony. I have reported the matter, but our chief librarian is characteristically unconcerned. Should that thing cross into the restricted stacks, I hope she remembers who warned her. Oh, okay. We found Boris. Very happy about that. Downtrodden stink pigeons. If anything about imps could be called subtle, it's that they are quietly the most complicated non-kith creature of Aora. They speak our tongues, follow complex instructions, and have enough awareness to possess a sense of self and free will that defies the intellect of their primordial peers. Partnered with their latent ability to grow in proportion to the magical energies their bodies absorb, one would not be mistaken for concluding that imps are the rightful masters of their environment. So, why aren't they? Much of our lore presumes that imps are a byproduct, little more than foul-mouthed pigeons, formed of arcane runoff. Some of us believe this to be anything but the case. Ledgers recovered from the early Wudican temples give more credit to these unloved creatures, referring to them in footnotes as the Firsts or the Fallen. Some have gone on to speculate that imps are the gods' discarded attempts to create life. This account will spearhead the academic crusade to prove the value of imps, who deserve a fair shake from we who have spent our careers underestimating their worth. Hello! Who did a raid? Someone did a raid, and I don't know who it was. Hello, did. It was Kegel. No, oh, hold up. Was it level? Was that a raid? Or was that a host? I'm going to assume that was a host. Anywho.
Yes? How may I help? I shall.
So, can we open this door?
On it.
An incredibly complex mechanism seals the door, standing impenetrably before you. Its gears, rods, and tumblers rival the innards of a construct for intricacy. With a confounded shake of his head, Aloth whistles. With Aloth. Aloth stretches to better see the engraving. Seems to be the emblem of the hand of a cult, or hand occult. The intricate mechanism seems almost to fade away, sinking into the door until it is entirely flat. Mere shallow etching. Only a lever remains. Pulling it sets the door in motion. Well, that was easy.
We can trust nothing we see, and see nothing we trust.
Well, ain't that something else?
Yeah, it is. However, we're not done here. We have a forbidden stacks to go into. I don't know what the deal is with this plant. I assume we'll figure that out. Oh.
Keeping quiet.
Require the proper key, you say?
We're not alone.
Yeah, I'm noticing those. What are those? Well, they can't see us, whatever they are. We're gonna stay stealthed.
The elf holds his grimoire like a clumsy initiate.
You gonna take that, Ella? House of Dominel on the efficacy of imps. A time-worn adage among the practitioners of the arcane arts avers that early wizards compelled imps to service not out of desire for the assistance, but to banish them from underfoot. I doubt it not at all, for one could not conjure more unruly, noisome, maladroit, or irascible aid. Why, then, do we employ these diminutive meddlers? Imps, dear reader, are to a wizard's sanctum as rats are to a ship. Whether out of malign instinct or pure mischievousness, they infiltrate our laboratories with alarming regularity. Ninagoth conjectures in his Sensitivities of Simpletons that imps infest any locus of concentrated mystical influence, and accounts of the creature lurking among the uninhabited ruins of Ingwith seem to have corroborated his supposition. Yet a wizard's domicile seems to possess a particular appeal to them, regardless of whether it resides at a nexus of power or no. Left to their own devices, the winged miscreants accrue loose baubles, hoarding them in filthy dens as often or not established in our cupboards and privies. Seemingly possessed of an antiquity dealer's discernment, each prefers to pilfer the most valuable paraphernalia and potent artifacts, yet they remain pathetically inept in the use of even the simplest gewgaw. I admit the imp's general incompetence makes them appealing retainers. One of the little cretins may displace a favored wand of elemental power, but little peril exists of it activating in the instrument and immolating your collected volumes of arcana. The same cannot be said of apprentices. Yet the beasts present a danger to the unwary, for they possess a low cunning not unlike that of Zorups and Orlans. Without a domineering hand to direct them, imps rapidly regress to their base instincts. As a result, their propensity for pack behavior, even transitory lenience with a single imp, can imperil a wizard's entire collection. Ooh, the Living Lands. Only the hardiest of explorers would dare take this long, dangerous trek to the Living Lands. While there is no denying its beauty, the diversity of plant life alone is a herbologist's dream. The inherent risk is blithely trekking through their pristine hills is more than most should undertake. Let me take a moment to tell you of the land itself. Rolling hills, greenery, and sun. The whole area feels like a succession of hills and valleys, each with its own ecosystem. While that declaration is a tad extreme, it can almost be said to be true. The combination of sun, geographical location, proximity to fresh water, valley depth, and the existence of hot springs have given the Living Lands a wide breadth of flora and fauna. Walking down a hillside into a valley and you will find lush, verdant hills. Climb the next rise and you might see nothing but rock and boiling mineral springs. And the creatures in my travels, I've seen it all, and this place never ceases to amaze me. I will never forget my encounter with the trolls of the Living Lands. I've just narrowly avoided being consumed by a giant plant, more on that later, and was running as fast as I could to get away from it. I broke through the crest of the hill, and the valley below was wide, green, wet, and covered with low, thick-branched trees. Vines grew everywhere. Between the trees, across the tops of them, down to the ground. It was a mess of vine and green. Cautiously, I worked my way down towards the basin, keeping an eye out for anything suspicious. And it's a good thing I did so. I noticed not all of the trees appeared to be trees. I froze, dropping to the ground in an effort to minimize my appearance. One of the trees moved, lumbering slowly away from the cluster. It's then that I realized it was a troll, stepping out from among the groups of trees it had been resting against. With a few more steps, I would have walked right into their home. The camouflage these trolls exhibited far exceeded any I've ever seen before. I hope to return again in the future to observe them more. I wonder if trolls are intelligent. That's the question, right? I like trolls. Maybe I'm close to being one. That might be why I like them. While I have never seen them, I have read reports of giant insects in the Living Lands. Centipedes, flies, mosquitoes, and hornets, all 10 times the size you would see them elsewhere. Imagine making camp. You've just gotten everything set up. There's a nice fire going next to your shelter. Something is gently simmering in the cooking pot. You sit down, finally feeling like you can relax after a trying day. You feel a tickling at your feet, insistent and prolonged. Reaching down to brush whatever it is away, your hand comes in contact with something hard, long, and flexible, winding its way around your boot. Looking down, you see a centipede the size of your arm casually making its way over your feet towards the far side of your camp. You would get out of that camp, wouldn't you? That's exactly what my friend did when he realized he had started his fire over a centipede nest. And lest we forget, do not let your guard down around the plants. I had discovered a wonderful collection of giant flowers. They were bright pink and grew in a circle around a central stalk. What an aroma! I lacked the words to describe how delectable it was. Sweet, fruity, and light with just a hint of something tangy. Looking closer, I saw the berries growing on the stalk in the center of the flowers. Well, I just had to have them, so I started pushing my way through the flowers. Then the vines growing around the base of the plant began to twitch and the blooms turned towards me. It was at that moment I saw the blooms weren't actually flowers, but hinged jaws. I had been fooled by its camouflage. I quickly retreated, pushing my way back out, just in time. The blooms slammed shut. If I had still been standing there, trying in vain to reach the berries, I wouldn't be writing this book today. Already read that one. What can be said about House Dominal that isn't whispered fearfully in a back room over the dim light of a dying fire in fear that the wrong set of ears would hear it? The Dominal history of is colorful and violent, exciting and more than a little bloody. The Dominals were a small Adirian family that dealt almost exclusively in textiles. They made a modest living, slowly gaining a reputation for having high-quality product. This reputation earned them connections, business, social, and sometimes marital, that solidified their position as the premier family of the region. If you wanted access to anyone, the Dominals were the way to do it. Soon, every city had a business that was owned, at least in part, by the Dominals. Their power and influence grew until many said the family had more power than even the Ferkening of Edir. But with that power came the corruption. One cannot have that level of control and expect to keep it through strictly legal means. Soon, rumors were spreading of threats and extortion. Though it cannot be proven, the unofficial reports is that the Dominals were responsible for the death of Trindig Bernwigger, which left his entire shipping empire in the hands of his wife, Udel Dominel Bernwigger. With their hold on the land practically secured, the Dominels no longer stuck in the shadows, brazenly eliminating opponents, manipulating deals, and threatening anyone who might cause them a problem. Because they now dominated the trade routes, no one dared oppose them anymore for fear their business would be strangled. Like many empires, though, not even theirs could last forever. The end came during the War of Defiance. Unlike most of the land, the Dominels threw in with Edir instead of Admeth Hadret. After the defeat of the Empire and the destruction wrought on the land during the war, not even the Dominels could rebuild what they had. And, having history show them on the wrong side of the war, no one would touch the name. The domain that took years to build crumbled in mere months. Today, the Dominals have once again built a name for themselves, proving they are still capable and savvy business people. Rumors about the family still circulate, though. Word is, members of the family are striving to lift the family from its current obscurity and elevate it to the level of power it once held. Oh, another scroll of cleansing. The Edir Empire, Part 1. I hope everyone's enjoying this because there's a lot. One moment. I'm going to take a bite real quick. All right. In approximately 2200 AI, excuse me. Yeah. Something didn't quite go all the way down. There we go. A group of tribespeople called the People of the Deer unified into a new civilization called the Adir Empire. Oh, I get it, because they're Adir. That's probably not in any way what there's... Yep, whatever. The tribes, small and widespread over the land, knew it would be better for their continued existence to unify. The leaders of each tribe became advisors to the king, chosen by the group. Each advisor would still be over his people but each lord would answer to the Ferkening. Ferkoni. Okay, yes, I am saying that right. First king. This decision turned out to be exactly what was needed, and the Adiran kingdom thrived, spreading out over the land, establishing strong trade routes, and became known to be fair, but shrewd businessmen. While the country thrived and internally there was little strife, there was still the occasional skirmishes with the neighboring elven kingdom of Kulklin. Not long after the kingdom was formed, the Adiran people began studying animancy. Still largely unknown at the time, it was an exciting, terrifying new realm that Adiran scholars saw great potential in. This potential came to bear fruit in 2260 AI, when a group of animancers, working together, transferred the soul of a recently departed man into another body, creating the first of what would later come to be known as the Undead. The reaction of this discovery was swift and decisive. Both the King of Adir and the Church of Wudica condemned this event, and the study and practice of animancy was outlawed. It would never again be practiced openly on Adiran soil. For those who don't know, we have already read the story and tales of that particular event. Conflicts with Kulklin continued, escalating into a minor war in 2398 AI. Afterwards, a treaty was signed, and the Kingdom of Adir merged with Kulklin to form the Adir Empire. With the political and military strife now settled, the Adir Empire would become an economic powerhouse, able to provide resources that were hard to find in other parts of the world. Their trade routes became some of the most lucrative in the world. I am really hoping that the next game, Avowed, takes place in the Adir Empire. I really, really hope that's the case. Because the Adir Empire sounds really interesting. However, I will also accept the Living Lands. I'm not that interested in the white that wins yet. Continuing on. In 2602 AI, Adir explorers returned from over the ocean, telling tales of ruins and treasures there, and of expansive fields that were perfect for growing Vorlas. The explorers warned the Ferkening that the locals were not friendly to outsiders, but the Ferkening, seeing this as an opportunity to extend his power and secure trade on another continent, sent more explorers. Over the next 20 years, the area that would become the Deerwood was investigated, mapped, and colonized. In 2623, the first permanent Adiran colonial settlements were established. Vorlas fields were set up north of the forests in the Deerwood, but between the conflicts with the Glenfathans and the War of the Broken Stone, more on that later, it floundered. It wasn't until 2643 that the opportunity presented itself again. Some Aethasian pilgrims wanted to escape persecution, established colonies and Vorlas farming operations in the territory of Raid Saras. With Grand Valia on the verge of collapse, the Ferkening wanted to ensure his hold on the purple dye trade would be established. He encouraged the settlement and even paid to have pilgrims set up in the New World. Because the Ferkening was still trying to secure his name in the purple dye trade, he was unable to properly respond to Admeth Hadret when he issued his ultimatum. To avoid rebellion and leave himself time to oversee the Vorlas farm in Raid Saras, the Ferkening relented and made Admeth a Gref Palatine. In return for this concession, Admeth spent time and resources in the Deerwood trade and shipping routes, benefiting the Ferkening with increased income. For 7 years, the Deerwood provided Adir with a steady income, leaving the Ferkening time to ensure his trade system in Raid Saras was strong. With the Ferkening's attention elsewhere, Admeth instituted the 10 Years Treaties, ending slavery in the Deerwood and permanently removing one of the revenue sources provided by the Deerwooden explorers, the artifacts from the ruins scattered through the Deerwood. At this point, the Ferkening's word meant almost nothing to the citizens of the Deerwood. Admeth Hadret had replaced him as their true leader. In order to undermine Admeth's standing, the Ferkening found allies willing to explore the ruins against the treaty conditions and plunder them. Soon, Adir again had a supply of artifacts to sell. When his agents were eventually caught, the Firkening distanced himself from the operation, certain there was no way to link him to the proceeding. But the Gref, using means provided by him to him by his Glenfathan allies, discovered the evidence needed to prove the Firkening was behind the plunders. The conflict that arose from this revelation led to Admeth declaring independence for the Deerwood in 2668 AI. After a bloody 4-year-long war that resulted in the death of Admeth, the Firkening relented. Trying to keep control of the Deerwood had become too costly. He signed treaties with the new Duke of the Deerwood and returned his attention to Raid Saris, redoubling efforts on the Vorless trade, which is still running today. Which, yes, that is what Raid Saris is known for, the Vorless trade. The Blacksmith Knights. Ooh, Knights of the Crucible. I would actually like to know more about these. They didn't really have any books about them. If the blacksmith falls, the armor fails. Or sorry, if the blacksmith fails, the armor fails. If the armor fails, the soldier fails. Or the okay, that one actually is a falls. God damn it. Ulrun Signhood, first guildmaster of the Knights of the Crucible. The Knights of the Crucible have one of the most fascinating and rich histories in all of Aora. Currently holding a position as an incredibly influential group in the Deerwood, they come from humble beginnings. There may not be a single person in all Deerwood who knows exactly how much they owe to the Knights. The group has existed for years, long before they even came to be known as Knights. They started as a group of blacksmiths, led by Ulrun Signhood, who came together to form a guild. Ulrun felt it imperative that for the members to unify, sharing their knowledge through the guild in order to keep their skills and techniques they had spent their lives perfecting. He called the guild the Crucible, insisting that, though their work was used for destruction, they should always be remembered as creators. They would be known as the vessel that withstands the fire to deliver new form into the world. Forged in the fire and all the stronger for the tribulations, Ulrun, being a veteran of many battles, knew the importance of impeccably made armor and weaponry. He also espoused the necessity for the members of the guild to be trained in martial combat. The only true way to make a proper suit of armor is to be the one who must wear it. Ulrun led the guild for years, instituting a policy that any man who wanted to join must not only be a skilled blacksmith, but also take the time to learn how to hold himself in battle. He added a training ground to their guild hall, and there was scarcely a minute of daylight that didn't see the members out on the field, honing their fighting technique. Because of this, the guild earned the nickname Knights of the Crucible. They became a de facto militia of the Deerwood, an honorable group that many turned to for help. They were known to be fair, ethical, and quick to respond. The Knights chose Abaddon as their patron, dedicating their works to his name. To honor him, they incorporated his symbol into their own and wore it on their arms. Many of the Knights took this honor further. Regardless of what material the suit of armor was made from, something on the right arm was made with iron, celebrating Abaddon's moniker, the Iron Arm. Both of these traditions are followed by some of the Knights to this day. The Knights' smithing skill led them to be known throughout the land as the premier artisans of their craft, leading people to call any item of exquisite quality of the Crucible. Their training and dedication truly came into play during the War of Defiance, locally known as Hadrit's Rebellion. Ulrun, knowing the importance winning this war, sent out a call. All able-bodied knights were to join the militia. They quickly proved invaluable to the cause and helped turn the tides of rebellion. This was particularly true in the Battle of Defiance Bay. Admeth had already been lost in a previous battle, and morale for the Deerwood militia was falling. With the help of Glenfathan astrologers, the Knights were able to rout the Imperial forces and secure victory for the Deerwood. The new Duke, grateful for the help, and knowing that without the Knights the Deerwood never would have survived, made a decree. The Knights would henceforth be welcomed into the Duke's castle and become the official royal guard. In recent years, the Crucible aspect has fallen by the wayside in favor of Knight. The requirement that members be proficient in both smithing and martial combat has loosened to the point that anyone who applies is guaranteed entrance, even if they possess little or no smithing experience. This is an allegation that is vehemently denied by the Knights. Fun. We did a little bit of talking with them in the first game.
That looks complicated.
I'll be your lookout.
What is that? That is a big old flower is what that is. Anything else that we can do? Not really. Is a spore encrusted? Requires the proper key. Right. So we can't get in there. We have to kill this flower, I think. Alright, what's our most powerful attack? Cleansing Flame.
Happy to oblige.
Let's go ahead and start up a Cleansing Flame.
I hear you.
Nothing hostile? It is not, in fact, hostile.
What can I do you for?
A mottled heap of spore flesh ripples with agitation. From the depths of a furry membrane, a long stalk emerges topped with mushrooms vaguely shaped like an eyeball. The eyeball stares at you before sloughing off and rolling away, leaving behind a wet trail of slime. It's so beautiful.
That's one way of looking at it, I suppose.
The spore colony stiffens. Ripples of unease travel down its flesh.
We are the Archmage Lengrath. What are you?
Apologies? You're not Lengrath. There's another Lengrath up there. I know her. She isn't a fungus. A long tendril slowly extends out of the colony, exposing a fleshy membrane that inspects the air around you.
Elf. Buoyant.
I can't say I'm terribly inclined to find out how it knows that.
Your vessel essence is compatible with Lengrath's song. Now you will accept our excrescence.
A second tendril breaks off from the first, this one covered in barbs, dribbling a syrupy green discharge.
Casita, I know that you enjoy new experiences from time to time, but this thing wants to infest you, replace you, make you into a mushroom. Just thought I'd make that clear in case there was any confusion.
Excrescence?
A term that refers to an unusual growth. It wants to make you part of itself.
Fun!
Lengrath must spread, must carry on the old tradition. We must grow.
Is there any way that I can do this without being barbed?
Your vessel is satisfactory. Your soil appropriate.
Why do you think you're Lengrath?
We know we are Lengrath. Lengrath is a thought vine stretching between gardens, and our roots have touched his oldest song.
Lengrath is a she?
Unproductive to debate with a vessel. You will understand shortly when your song joins ours.
Can we just go our separate ways?
There is only one way. We must escape the prison, and your water will give us the strength to move on.
Huh. An orifice yawns open from the depths of the fungus and discharges a cloud of pungent spores, the sounding of a biological alarm. Your skin crawls as many fungal creatures turn to you in wordless fury. And where are they? I'm very glad that we are currently stealthed. Okay, these spore tendrils are real bad news. Oh no. Okay. Outlaw, do you want to just not be there? I feel like you'd be a lot safer if you just weren't there.
I shall.
Well, I'm glad we swapped out for some actual firepower. Is there a particular reason why we can't use this?
Insufferable.
I gotta figure out how grimoires work. Actually, put that on, put that on, put that on, put that on.
Yeah?
We're just gonna immediately kill as many of these as we can. Because these things are dangerous, and I'm not going to give them the chance to attack. Last I fought one of these, it very nearly killed us instantly, and there's enough of them to be a super huge threat. So, we'll see how this goes, but I am not optimistic. What's this thing immune to? Intellect afflictions. That's it. Resistance to dexterity afflictions. That's not awful, I suppose. Okay, we're gonna walk over to it, and then we're gonna hit it real hard with a mule kick. I don't want that thing to have an opportunity to do anything. These things have resistance to frost, don't they? They have significant resistance to frost. That still did a decent chunk of damage. But yeah, as I said, they do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, Sephi's just down.
What can I do you for?
That's okay, though. We can reduce their numbers pretty significantly. I hope.
I see great potential in you, Shoti.
How much damage did that do? That nearly killed that one. That one's not looking too hot. So 2 of them are almost dead. They're still going to take a significant amount of work to kill, though. How do they... They are resistant to fire.
Lava root, be on sync.
That is every single possible defensive buff that a mage can have. I am hoping that this will help in some way. If not, we're kind of boned. Expose vulnerabilities on all of these.
How may I help?
Resistance to dexterity afflictions, which means that this would be downgraded to paralysis instead of... Fuck it, it's still better than any other option we've got right now. Can I hit all 3? One's down. Oh yeah, yeah, that resistance is very helpful. There's Lengrath's safeguard activating.
Hey.
Okay, we're gonna kill this one next. I was really hoping that that would do more damage.
Yeah, smarts, don't it?
That one's nearly dead. We can finish it off.
Lava root, be on sync.
Cool. Probably would have been better for the one that Eder is attacking, but that's fine.
Yes?
Still don't really want to know what this thing is doing. Break the bell, please. Fuck. It's got concentration.
Something I can do?
Yeah. Mule kick that. Just don't let it take an action. Never let it take an action. Becomes untargetable, petrified and untargetable for a brief time. I don't know what the range on those is, but I assume we're now out of it. Console hot straining touch. Ninnigat's mooring. That sounds good.
What can I do you for?
Yeah, okay, we are out of the range now. So it's currently still on fire. Please hit that one. Yep, Aloth is going to take a ton of damage for now. That one should die pretty quickly.
How may I help?
I need them to untarget Aloth. Okay, that one's dead. Cool. This is all going exactly as Keikaku. You know what? F it. Fucking remove it from the fight for a
What do
bit.
you need?
We don't need that thing in a fight. Just get rid of it. Make it go away. That one's dead. Then we can deal with the other two tentacles on our own time. And maybe resurrect Sephi. Sephi got hit hard. I think every single tentacle in the room decided to kill her. Which, yeah, that really sucks. But we managed to pull through, so I will call that a win for us. Did you? Can you not hit? Okay. Wow. Apparently their attacks are really, really awful at hitting. It's just that they've been targeting low AC targets.
Yes?
Okay, so it's in a temporal cocoon for a bit. Good.
That looks complicated.
Can you shadow step? You cannot. Why can you not shadow step? Because this costs 3.
Something I can do? May I be a candle in the night?
Yeah.
Alright, we're going to leave that thing alone for now. I'm sure that it can't do anything yet. We got 3 turns of uninterrupted badassery over here. And I'm going to use them. Also, seriously, this is way too much defense. Like, yo, I hear you like all the defense and literally nothing else. And a Gauss freezing pillar, please.
How may I help?
Oh god, he's got no ability.
No
Okay.
mercy.
Just try and get some health back for now.
Take that.
We're just gonna keep bashing on this tentacle. Jesus. we want to do a resurrect? I feel like I want to do a resurrect.
What do you need?
Just keep hitting. Nothing too interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Aye. No mercy.
That didn't do as much as I was hoping. Oh, now it is starting to take some real damage.
Huh?
Okay, that thing's out of its temporal cocoon. Nice! That was a good hit.
Happy to oblige.
Do we have minor intercession? We do, in fact, have a minor intercession.
Hey. Here we go.
Something you need?
Yeah, just keep attacking it, air.
That's not very helpful.
Something I can do?
Adair can actually take the damage, unlike everyone else here.
Yeah?
Cool. We're all pretty well buffed.
Right.
What can I do you for?
Do we have any sort of crowd control? We got this.
How may I help?
Chest, war staff. Friggin' use the death rays, I guess.
Well, ain't I God's own fool?
I am exceptionally glad that I did not
That's
give
not
that thing a
very
chance to
helpful.
do anything. These are really bad news.
Aye.
Okay.
That doesn't feel right.
Do we have a sleep spell? Not anymore, we don't.
When the wheel has ground you all to dust, only I will remain.
Did it miss? It missed!
Oh?
Oh my god.
Happy to oblige.
Okay, I am glad that I did save some of the, some of Adair's abilities though. Because this is not good. First of all, Holy Radiance. I really wish we had Pelagina right now.
Oh? Let's try again.
God damn it. This thing. Okay, we're just gonna start interrupting it.
Did you know you reek of that hagfish you carry? Dispose of it at once.
Did you miss? You missed! We don't have many of those.
No more of that.
Console Hot's Draining Touch? hate these things. These luminescent sporelings do so much damage. Blanked and distracted. Fantastic.
Something I can do?
This thing needs to die.
Brenthas!
Something you need?
Look, me and you are about to mix.
We just brought her back, goddammit.
All right.
Yep, that's gonna get interrupted immediately.
Come at me, posted. Wasted effort.
Or not. Oh. Oh, thank God. Okay, it only got rid of all our buffs. It didn't actually... That could have gotten a lot worse. Effectively, what it was going to do was super duper nerf all of us for the entire rest of the fight.
I shall deal with this one.
Rebirth awaits me.
Yeah?
Adair doesn't have enough penetration. Crackling, Prayer of the Spirit, Firebrand. That was a good hit.
Happy to oblige. Get through. That was about as useful as a bump on a pickle.
Well, fuck. I forgot they explode.
Something I can do?
Yeah, Adair, just keep whacking it. Wait, what's his penetration? High resistance to... Oh, wow, look at that armor. Holy crap. High resistance to a lot of shit, but mostly to blunt, which Adair is currently using. Piercing damage is what we want. Shit. What have you currently got? That's blunt damage. We can do the Rod of the Deep Hunter. Can we do Meteor Shower? I don't know how much damage Meteor Shower does, but we have it. Ooh! I really hope this doesn't get interrupted.
Nuts. Pardon me as I indulge myself.
This is a fantastic time to use this
No
spell.
mercy.
Yeah?
Where's your stiletto?
No rush, but if you
What can I
have
do
any
you for?
antidotes handy, I'd be much obliged.
Do we have... We got one more resurrect.
Exceed honor.
Something I can do?
Oh, Jesus.
This thing isn't doing the job.
It's better than what you were using. Honestly, you know what? She's probably gonna die. That was a waste. The Hand of Wheel, or the... Jesus, this thing just needs to die now. How much damage can we do? $57. Give it another target.
No rush, but if you have any antidotes handy, I'd be much obliged.
Mo exceed honor.
Nice Kiko. Someone lend me a hand.
Yep. That's not good. That is the definite opposite of good.
I shall. This is futile.
Yeah, I noticed. I'm so glad we killed those tentacles.
Yeah.
No rush, but if you have any antidotes handy, I'd be much obliged.
Move. Exceed honest.
So we did end up healing everyone pretty well. But we're down to our last dregs. Joti's about to go down. She has one revive.
Can't move.
Okay, so they're all focused on Adair, or at least Adair is focused on them.
This thing isn't doing the job.
Yeah, well, I know. I really hope she lives because that Visage of Council Hot is going to be mandatory. Thing is, unfortunately, highly resistant to Council Hot's Crushing Doom, which sucks, but you know what? It'll still do damage to it over time. How much health does this thing have? We've been doing decent damage. How much damage does this do? Raw damage, can't be resisted. Fantastic.
Bones. Jody's done for.
She'll be back up in a moment.
How may I help?
Just keep hitting
Deal
it.
with this one.
Uh-huh.
It is at least flanked. And our two wizards are actually in a pretty good state. Can I not soul strike?
This thing isn't doing the job.
Okay, it hit. I don't know if it actually worked. Hey Jyoti, welcome back. Please hit the big one. Yep.
Almost.
That cleaned things up pretty well. All right, Console Hot. Crushing Doom, please. I know it won't do very much, but it's better than nothing.
What can I do you for?
You can buff everyone.
Exceed.
Get it together, Shorty.
Never mind, Jyoti's dead.
Yes?
Fantastic, it at least stunned it for a little bit.
No, cannot whack him any harder.
You know what we're gonna do? Gonna do this.
When the wheel has ground you all to dust,
I know it's not much, but it'll help.
I will remain.
What do you need? Stable. Can't make a dent.
Hey, that actually did decent damage. Was that a crit?
Aye.
Nope, that was just a normal hit. Surprisingly. It's almost dead.
We can't afford another loss. Something I can do.
Yes? These uns are in for a while.
Yeah! And it had a last laugh.
I was chewing through Cadnua's foundation long before Aothas finished the job.
God, that thing was hard to kill. Dank spores. Oh, there's our key. Nice. And Mora's infested grimoire. Mora's creeping, grasping tentacle, wilted wind, wall of many colors. Ghost blade, slicken, fetid caress. That thing was nasty in a lot of different ways.
Yes? Indeed.
I think that we definitely deserved a rest after that. We took a lot of risks. I was
This indignity will
this
not
close.
go unanswered.
I was this close to trying to use the bolt of seven storms on it. I don't know if that would have helped. It was big enough that it would have been hit by all of them, which might have been helpful.
Steady does it.
Well, we got our key, so we should be able to go through this door now. It is a spore-encrusted key going to a spore-encrusted door. Yeah, Chanter spells can't be used at the start of combat. That's unfortunate.
Something you
How
need?
may I help?
Got fireballs? That was a good start. That killed all but one of them.
Set me loose on them.
Fantastic.
And if I must, I'll be on lookout.
A smithing hammer salvaged from Durgan's battery. It's too heavy to lift. A rudimentary rifle recovered from the wreckage of Evandur Bridge. A bullet is lodged in the barrel. It may never have been fired.
Next time, I will secure a body that lasts.
A rune-etched medallion hangs on the breastplate of this blood-red armor, secured around its gorget by a steel chain. The pendant bears several potent sigils of conjuration and binding, doubtlessly designed to infuse the armor with soul essence and animate its semblance with intellect and life. You dig among your gear and come up with a piece of chalk. You grind it down and with the utmost care, wipe it into the sigils. Your defacement should, you hope, neutralize the enchantment without triggering it. The armor trembles, then sags, whatever spell binding it together, broken. Interesting. The runes etched into this pendant animated the armor it's placed on and imbue it with grace and strength of a trained warrior, though little semblance of intellect or personality. Or at least they did before you disenchanted it. Ow. Well, poo.
Yeah, will do.
Anything the armor has? The Crimson Panoply. That's interesting. That might actually be worth giving to Adair. The deep crimson lacquer of this armor seems to shift subtly as the wearer moves, like falling rose petals or running blood. The gold trim bears numerous finery traced symbols, the remnants of the enchantment that animated it and filled it with animosity in the archives of the Hand Occult. It still feels angry. Grants survivor. While frenzied by the Crimson Panoply, the wearer gains a damage shield that absorbs some incoming damage. The amount absorbed increases with the wearer's survival skill. Interesting. It's also legendary, which means I don't have to do any, excuse me, any upgrading. Grants Frenzy. Wearer has a chance to enter a frenzied state after being critically hit. The wearer gains a strong and fit inspiration as well as action, or as an action speed bonus. While frenzied, the wearer receives a deflection penalty. I think I actually know who I'm giving this to. We have a barbarian that would benefit from it immensely.
Whoa, look.
The Sun and Chalice crest is the only decoration remaining on this rusted through Dracosi Paladini breastplate. Who's ready for some reading? Hold up. Take a brief bite. Actually, oh my god, it's 8:42. We're going to take a brief break. I'll use the time to finish off what I had. Alright, we're back. Looks like Console Hot has been haranguing us. I think that's the correct word. Alright, let's learn about Glanfath, also known as the Deerwood. Now. The history of Glanfath before it was discovered by the Adirian explorers is poorly documented, and oral accounts often conflict. Some tell stories of an ancient civilization had left, taking all its knowledge with it, leaving ruins of their civilization behind. Others say the Glenfathans themselves developed such power and technology that they all but destroyed themselves, and that is why they will not allow anyone into the ruins on their lands. Either way, reliable information about the area of the Glenfath doesn't begin until Adirian explorers discovered it in 2602 AI. The Glenfathans were not used to encounters with outsiders before, and viewed the intrusion on their land as something of a test. The ruins that covered their land were considered sacred, and these strangers, despite warnings, plundered them, taking artifacts. The Glenfathans that resisted were captured and forced into slavery, becoming property of the new colonists. Their people, heritage, and land at stake, the Glenfathans struck back, hoping to drive them out of their land permanently. Despite their best efforts, more Adirian invaders appeared. By 2623 AI, the Adirians that had established towns, pushing the Glenfathans out of some areas and enslaving any who refused to leave. They tried to live in peace, keeping an eye on the Adirians, and with the exception of a few isolated incidents, it seemed to work. The tentative peace came to a bloody end in 2626 AI. A group of farmers, clearing a potential crop field in the middle of an area dotted with many sacred ruins, knocked down one of the ancient menhirs. Whether this was intentional or accidental, it was not known, but this incident started what came to be known as the Broken Stone War. It was short. Oh, there's Zutara. I was wondering where you've been. Although, actually, that's not entirely true. I kind of figured that everyone's just off watching or playing the new Diablo. I am kind of curious how many people will buy that despite the current stuff that's been happening with Blizzard. How you doing, Zutara? You haven't even turned D2R on yet? I am teaching everyone history, specifically the history of Glanfath right now, so I hope that you're ready to learn. Where was I? Broken Stone War. It was short, lasting less than a year, but it was bloody and brutal. Several thousand Adirian colonists died, as well as hundreds of Glenfathans. Though the war ended, the attacks on the Adirians didn't stop. An Orlan named Regd was chosen as Galvan of the Glenfathans. He vowed to make every outsider pay for the injustices done on his people's lands. He organized the Glenfathan Fangs and orchestrated a series of attacks over the course of the next 2 years. It seemed Regd's tactics would eventually work to drive the Adirian from Glanfath, but then they started fighting back. They became far more organized and their tactics less predictable. Fewer and fewer of Regd's attacks succeeded. He discovered a new Gref, Edrang Hadret, had been appointed, someone whose tactics and battle savvy were more evenly matched with his. Eventually, both leaders came to a stalemate, neither able to gain the upper hand on the other. As a result of the stalemate, the hostilities between the two groups dwindled as they were never a significant result for either side. This led to treaties, developed and signed by both, to eliminate the violence and tension. Regd stepped down as Galvan and returned to his life. Hadret set a decree. Looting the ruins of Glanfath is an attestable offense. As a sign of goodwill, Hadret also tried to outlaw slavery, but this act was struck down by other earls and the Frickening of Edir. Because of this, some incidents of rural violence still cropped up. Hadret's treaties resulted in 20 years of relative peace for the Glenfathans, still wary and distrustful of the Adirians, but willing to accept the presence if they had to. Eventually they did end slavery, though, so what happened? In 2652, everything started to deteriorate. It was uncovered that a number of ruined sites had been looted, and all signs pointed to the Adirans breaking the treaty. Glenfathans held off judgment for as long as they could, but when the evidence became overwhelming, they retaliated with all the strength they could muster. Regd once again took up the mantle of leadership and led his people against the Adirans. Instead of facing Edrang Hadret again, this time Regd crossed swords with Admeth Hadret, Edrang's son. Admeth proved to be just as, if not more, capable than his father, and used a tactic no Glenfathan expected. In order to clear out the battlefield and ensure that there would be no place for troops to hide, Admeth set the entire forest on fire near the Ishiuar River, and blocked all retreating forces with his army. While some escaped the slaughter, most of the Glenfathan troops died. Regd was captured in the mayhem and transferred to New Hiamar for holding. While many more battles occurred, some of which resulted in Admeth using the same tactic, the Glenfathan forces were now disorganized and had lost their resolve. They were easily routed, and by the end of the same year, the War of the Black Trees, as it is now known, was over. In order to again repair relations between the two groups, Admeth introduced new laws restricting the taking of new slaves from Air Glenfath. The laws also gave Glenfathans the opportunity to buy their fellows out of bondage. While not entirely happy with the prospect of having to buy their countrymen, who had already been free, the Glenfathans took their gesture as the goodwill it was and ceased their hostilities again. 7 years passed with the Deerwood under Admeth's rule. The Glenfathans felt, for the first time, that true peace could return to their land. This peace led to what is likely the biggest treaty negotiation between Air Glenfath and the Deerwood in its history. Admeth set into place the 10 Years Treaties, so named because it had been 10 years since the War of the Black Trees. If there's anyone there listening along, you need help, you're turning down Javazon, Tornado Druid, torn between doing Javazon, Tornado Druid, or Trepson. Trepson feels really bad. Tornado Druid, why would you not go Brimstone Druid? Brimstone Druid's tons of fun. Fire all over the place. All for exactly 4 mana. Because for some reason, Brimstone, or they fixed traps in D2R. They no longer reduce the number of elite spawns. Oh, okay. I didn't know they did that. Let's see, where was I? A timeline was set, and at the end of it all, Glenfathan slaves had to be released. The citizens of Air Glenfath watched the Deerwood with a cautious hope. With the extended peace between the two people and these new treaties, they truly hoped conflict was a thing of the past. In 2665, Galvan Medra, an elven woman who had taken over for Regd, brought news to Admeth. Some Deerwooden people were found taking artifacts from one of the tombs. Initial investigations uncovered several more had already been plundered. As they seemed to be isolated incidents and it had been stopped early, Medra did not want a war to start again after so long being at peace. Admeth was grateful for this courtesy and wasted no time tracking down who was responsible. Medra gave Admeth's use of her Brishelgwyn, mind hunters, and with their help found evidence pointing directly back to the Firkening. Admeth and Medra, now jointly allied against the Adiran Firkening, used everything at their disposal to prevent the Firkening's agents from getting into the ruins. In 2668 AI, when Admeth was declared independent from Adir to create the free Palatinate of Deerwood, the Glenfathans stood behind him, offering their support and troops. While the war didn't affect the Glenfathan people directly, there were casualties. In the end, the Deerwooden people became free, and the bond between the two people was strengthened through their shared suffering. Admeth became beloved as the ruler of the Deerwood, known and respected by the Deerwoodens and Glenfathans alike. Huh. That was interesting. So, what kind of trap? Death trap? I mean, death trap is pretty much what everyone ends up going anyway because it's corpse explosion. You could also do a corpse explosion necromancer. Oh no, I mean, what are you specializing in? Corpse explosion necromancer, though. Do it. One day, Aothas was sitting on a wall watching a cat play in the sun. A crystal hung in a nearby tree. Oh, I've read this one. Never mind. I remember this. They ended up creating the Great Western Stag, which became the center point for one of the artifacts in the first game. I don't know if it's still in the game. I'd like to find out at some point.
Real quiet now.
The hell is that? This construct bathes in a liquid so chill it scalds your fingers. The Wake's Wand. Ah, you go lightning traps instead? Hmm. The curve of this gold-plated wand suggested the writhing tentacles of a beast of depths. It wraps around a ruby the color of freshly spilled blood. In the era following the fall of Engwith, the Hand Occult granted such potent implements to their most cunning wizards and priests. I can appreciate that we're...
I should rest and tend to my wounds.
Is it just these two? It's just these two. Okay. Death Ray. Do, 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 do. That one. That one. To some lesser extent, this one. And then also this one. And maybe even this one. And now that we've cast all the spells in one turn, it's time to actually do something. Tain's Chaotic Orb. Really? You missed? How'd you miss? Fine, whatever. You're at the point in Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous where the only thing you can do is rest and wait for the story to catch up. Did every side quest you have to? Nice. How's the story so far? You enjoying it? Oh, Cleansing Flame is significantly worse if cast by non. Okay. That's interesting. Right, it's a power level 0 Cleansing Flame.
What do you need?
Just more. When she levels up, I am totally getting her some more offensive spells because she just does not have many. Like, I'm pretty sure Jyoti has more than she does. Which, not great.
The elf holds his grimoire like a clumsy initiate.
Shut up,
Happy to
console hot.
oblige. Fear not, that dog won't hunt.
Hey.
Insufferable.
Anything but blunt. Gotcha. If that had hit, that would have been great.
Yes?
Just keep lasering them. We'll run out of lasers eventually. I don't know exactly how I ended up giving him all the lasers, but he has all the lasers. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Just more lasers.
Sure, no good.
Happy to oblige. No one noticed that, right?
Yeah, come on, Adair. I know your accuracy is better than that.
Yeah? Mm-hmm.
Aye.
Huh? Hmm? Yeah? Mm-hmm.
Who do I want to bind this wand to? That's a good question. What are the bonuses of this thing? After empowering an ability, the wielder's initiative is cleared. I don't know what other abilities it has. Rod, scepter. I want her to keep the Eye of Wow, because this thing upgrades to some pretty interesting stuff. We already upgraded it to Lidless Gaze and 100 Visions. Water Shaper's Focus. What can I upgrade this to? Crushing Depth. Crashing Surf. Launches a wave of water, inflicting crush damage, and it knocks prone all targets. That's a pretty good thing. And then there's Rejuvenating Water. I think that I'm going to give her Crashing Surf.
Nice and slow.
Hey there? Or, hello? Okay, we just go to the central stacks again.
Will not go unanswered.
Well, I'm looking forward to Wrath of the Righteous once Pathfinder Kingmaker finishes. Oh, it takes a while though. Pathfinder Kingmaker is a long game, and this is already still very long. I estimate we've got at least another 30 hours in this. That'd be my guess, at least.
The season of harvest is here.
Oh, fuck. Grease? Anyone? Grease.
Something you need?
Yeah, just activate literally everything right now, all the time. I want you to be maximum buff. And you are on like at maximum buff. She's almost tankier than Adair is. Cool. Get their attention.
You want some trouble, Botso?
If I've played Pathfinder at all, then you know how busted you can be with the mythic options. I don't even know what the mythic options are, so nah. Nah, broski.
Hey. Come on.
Did he miss?
May I be a candle in the night.
Take him down.
Fantastic.
Almost.
We are missing a lot on this spell.
Doesn't feel right.
Hey, are you blind?
We just double duplicated it.
Whoever withers on the vine. Rebirth awaits me.
What just happened? Would that be it? Oh my
What
god.
can I do you for?
What actually just happened? I want to know. There was a lot of damage that went out just now. That spell is such a double-edged sword. It does so much damage that sometimes you can accidentally kill yourself with it really easily. Who just went down? We just lost Aloth. Can we do True Resurrection on him?
What do you need?
And Facina just went down. Fantastic.
Leave it to me.
Mm-hmm. Just, no, dude.
Yeah.
Yes?
Okay, yeah. Just stab him.
Deal with this one.
God, I don't know what just happened, but somehow we had it bouncing between allies and enemies the entire time, which was really not good. Maximum double plus not good.
Let's go.
What do you need?
Something you need? Come at me, Fastinago.
Hey, do you want all of the buffs? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she's gonna be real tough to kill for a while. The only reason she died was because that was elemental damage, and I think what ended up happening... Let me just double check. So he's got one stands alone. Infused, control, energized, and robust.
These uns are in for a walloping.
Jesus, dude.
When the wheel has ground you all to dust, only I will remain.
Okay, Adair. You already have Inspired Discipline. Hit it real hard. Thank you. That wasn't quite the damage output that I was hoping for, but it's the damage output we got.
Oh? Let's hire it out!
So he's paralyzed for now.
Take him down.
So much penetration.
The elf holds his grimoire like a clumsy initiate.
How may I?
These uns are in for a walloping.
Happy to oblige.
Like epic levels from D&D 3rd edition, except they run congruently with your normal levels instead. Interesting. Mythic sounds interesting.
Sure thing.
We already did Champion's Boon. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah?
You have only delayed your death.
Wasted effort. Bleeding.
We just got Devotions of the Faithful. Shadow Step, Devastating Blow, Break the Bell.
There's a walloping.
Oh yeah.
What can I do?
That gets rid of his concentration, and also, bye. Okay, I was hoping that would kill him, but
Come at me, Pussinago.
You're losing, folks. Something I can do?
yes, actually.
I'll naked us both. Aye.
Why is he doing damage to everyone around him? How is he still alive?
What do you need?
Yes.
Something you need?
Don't like this spore. Don't like it at all. I think it should die. Or at least be removed from the fight for a bit.
No rush, but if you have any antidotes handy.
Yeah, good luck in removing her with all of that. Everything.
Oh.
Okay. Break the bell, devastating blow, confounding blind. Confounding blind sounds good.
Something you need? You want some trouble, Bozzo?
What do you need?
Happy to oblige. Love will be on sync.
Hey! It didn't completely destroy someone this time.
How may I help?
You really can't. You're about to die.
You want some trouble, Bozzo?
Yeah.
Let's see here.
What do you need?
Oh.
Jeez, we used both of our resurrections and it wasn't enough.
What do you need?
Something you need?
Kind of wish that we had the sniper on our team right now. But we don't.
Happy to oblige.
Minor intercession sounds good right about now.
Yes?
Break the bell? No, he doesn't have enough for that.
I cannot whack him any harder.
Jesus, that did nothing.
Yeah.
Something I can do?
Real tired of all this armor that enemies have these days. It's just like, oh, hey, how do we make it harder? Just give it a billion armor or something.
Yes?
Friggin' lasers.
What do you need?
Adair's been doing pretty well for, or not Adair,
Why is your ignorant farmer winking at me?
What can I do you for?
Cool. Not the Storm of Seven Bolts. Conductive Blast, please.
That dog won't hunt.
Next turn. There we go.
What can I do you for? Yeah.
Oh, that thing's still alive. I didn't even notice.
Set me loose on them.
When did it put that out? Just please kill it. I don't especially like that it exists.
Indeed.
Yeah?
Huh.
I'm on it. Not to alarm you, but
What can I
I'm
do you for?
slowly dying of poison.
Yes?
On us.
This cannot last, you know.
Okay.
These uns are in for a walloping.
Yeah?
Oh?
Happy to oblige. Smart, don't it?
About taxed to my limit.
Jesus.
What can I do you for? What can I do
I
you
thought I was
for?
fine. Okay, so it's not something that's based on it being... Okay, fine.
Uh-huh.
This goddamn dude.
On it.
What were they guarding? They were guarding Aretuza's cane. Solid and sturdy, this stylish accoutrement doubles as a serviceable bludgeon for the sophisticated urbanite. The magician Aretuzo, a perennial fixture at the courts of the Grand Valia, infamously bore this implement among polite society. He set it against all who displeased him, including imps, domestics, apprentices, grandchildren, and untimely swipe at the Duke of Nagnice's brother saw the wizard imprisoned for 6 months, during which the period the cane went missing, likely at the hand of one of his perpetual targets. Plus 20% all defenses against dexterity affliction attacks. Pure class, 50% chance on scoring a crit to lower an enemy's deflection by -5 for 1 round. It's a club? Who do we have who uses clubs?
Happy to oblige. Uh-huh.
Next time, I will secure a body that lasts.
Mm-hmm. $9.28. I'm not going to take the risk of wandering past that.
What happened to your old pets, Watcher?
I'm fine.
I knew it. I knew someone would set it off. That would have killed a certain person. Torrent of Flame, Structural Integrity Report. I remember reading this.
Aothas will take what remains.
Maintenance log, Flesh Construct Controller. Lick it. Well, the hell do I do with this thing?
Will do.
Yeah, this thing is indestructible. Don't know how to kill it. Maybe it requires a specific type of weapon? I was kind of hoping that that librarian might say a little bit more. What do we do here? We kind of cleared out everything, but I don't know how to get down. I assume it's that fungus. Let's go talk to Lengrath.
What you want, Groundstink?
I found this recipe for invigorating nightmares and immediately thought of you.
Huh? Dumb Gravostink need new drugs. Something stronger. Something uglier.
Squinting down at the parchment, Drowsy Puke nods and begins combining ingredients. He sprinkles the mixture onto the nose of a passing rat and chuckles merrily when the creature stiffens into a ball and dies.
New drugs ready for sampling. Sleep well, idiot.
Huh. Resistance to resolve afflictions. I still think that this is the best one.
I see great potential in you, Shoti.
All right. Lengrath?
I do hope you didn't breathe in any of those fungal spores. Gods only know what havoc they may wreak on your lungs and other systems. Very well.
Hold up. I want to look at this thing that we apparently got. Ah, here we are. The gods strip us of who we are on every turn about the wheel, mercilessly shaving off all we've learned with their divine lathes. We retain the pale shadows of our souls, but knowledge, memory, self, all of it is cut away. Do the gods fear we might someday rival their strength if we do not?
You return with news, I hope. What a curious tome. May I see it?
That depends. Will you give it back?
Of course. I've too many books as it is.
I'm serious.
So am I. You should see my study. Stacks of books on every surface. Yet I can't seem to stop acquiring more.
Sure.
I'll be but a moment.
She turns the tome over in her hands, inspecting the cover and binding. Then she places her hand flat on the cover and closes her eyes. A brief flicker of arcane energy dances beneath her fingers.
Intriguing. I can't tell if this is a bit of hand occult chicanery or something more enticing.
She reluctantly returns the book to you, her gaze lingering on its cover. It gave me a vision of one of your past lives.
Did it now? That's very curious indeed.
She holds her voice carefully even. I saw an Orlan man walking the forest of Air Glenfath with a book held under his arm. He stopped beneath an oak tree to write his thoughts about the god.
A compelling vision, but hardly definitive. Tread cautiously. This place is no doubt full of unseen hazards.
What sort of godlike is she? She's not a WoW godlike, is she?
Hey.
Lengrath sure sounded eager to talk, and you were keen to listen. Had a lot to say to each other. Mm-hmm. Was it about me?
She wanted me to bring her some books from the archives.
Did you say what kind of books? Like journals or maybe grimoires?
Why do you care?
Well, we have to look out for each other, don't we? One archmage has already run off into the depths of this place, drawn by the allure of the unknown. I just want to make sure that we're being, what's the word? Cautious.
Tane snaps his fingers and winks. I'll need to collect the rest of the books before I can understand them better.
Naturally, of course. Isn't that always the way?
Tane sighs and shyly glances over at Lengrath.
Whatever she told you, she's probably lying.
It takes one to know one, but that only proves his point.
Vasina slowly nods.
If I were you, I'd stay suspicious. Lengrath wouldn't give you all the facts if it concerned her past. Or, you know, the past of the ones who came before her.
We're just gathering books. Where's the harm?
In case you hadn't noticed already, information can be dangerous. Especially in a place like this.
Thank you for your concern. I'll stay alert.
You do that. If you do manage to find those books, consider bringing them to me first. Always helps to have a second pair of eyes.
You return with news, I hope. Very well.
Yeah, what exactly are we doing here? Twitch muted itself? Oh, that's fun. Wonder how that happened. Oh. So what are you up to? Still, have you actually started a game now?
Yeah, right away.
It's not a necromancer.
Hey.
Not interesting.
You return with news, I hope. Very well.
So, now I have to figure out where the hell I'm going. Nice. There must be something I can use that book I got on.
I was chewing through Cadnua's foundation long before.
However, we can at least visit Bakarna. We have something of hers. That might give us a little bit of a clue.
Can you make the stars right again?
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought we had something of a clue. Sailor enclosure, spore enclosure. Wish I knew what those were. Wait, can we do something with the pit? No, doesn't look like it. I thought we could for a moment. Protect the assets. This is a final reminder not to disturb the subjects while they hearken to the music of the pit. The wretches have grown protective of our benefactor's song and will attack those who've damaged the organ's apertures. If any subject experiences a moment of clarity, kindly guide them away from the pit and back to an aperture where they can rejoin the others in blissful indifference. We'd like to minimize the suicide rate this quarter. May this also serve as notice that we have exhausted our supply of earplugs. Overseers and are authorized to distribute hot candle wax until someone can venture topside for supplies. That's got to be the Vithrak. Surprisingly articulate for a Vithrak. They don't exactly... How close are we to leveling up? We gotta be close. We've been fighting monsters well above our level. Oh yeah. We're close. Probably one or two more fights. So here's the thing. They said that they went into the quarantine section, yet we've seen very little note of them.
How may I help? Oh?
And we still are no closer to being able to kill off this goddamn fungus.
Indeed.
It's indestructible to all of our attempts at killing it, at least. Wait, what's this? Oh? Unguent of Animalism. The Dozens, the Fangs, and the Erosian Calendar. I've already read that last one. Scarcely a decade ago, the Evendur Bridge, 7 men and 5 women fought valiantly to protect their homeland. They volunteered for the mission knowing it was up to them, and them alone, to prevent Saint Widewind from crossing the bridge. They succeeded, even though they lost all but 4 of their number in the battle, and Widewind was on the bridge when the Godhammer detonated. The final 4 were lost in the blast as well. Their sacrifice a testament to their dedication. The Dozens, a group ostensibly formed for the protection of the Deerwood, was founded in honor of those men and women. Indeed, those 12 men and women were posthumously regarded by the Dozens as their true founders. Initially, the group dedicated itself to protecting Deerwood from invasions, patrolling the borders tirelessly in search of Red Saren forces, regrouping for another attack. When that attack never materialized, many of the Dozens thought the next threat might come from the Athasians loyalists living in Deerwood and began to turn their attention within. All new members of the Dozens are required to swear an oath to remember the sacrifice of their founders and remain vigilant against Raid Saras and any followers of Aethas. To this end, worshippers of Aethas are routinely harassed by the Dozens. The mindset of this group may be hard for some to understand, as any fanatical devotion can sometimes overshadow the ideals, but the original Dozen, knowingly sacrificing their lives for Deerwood. From the Dozen's perspective, how can new members of the Dozens be any less committed to their country's welfare? What better way could there be to honor their founders? The Dozens are not a large group, but what they lack in size they make up for in fervent devotion to their cause, and a gift for gaining the ear of commoners. This makes them a force to be reckoned with, and there is no more affluential group in shaping the discourse surrounding Widewind's legacy. A small but very vocal minority of extremists in the group are calling for a new war with Raid Saras. Talking of purging the Deerwood of all followers of Aothas is also being touted. More recently, they have begun to see in the present practice of animancy a possible cause for the legacy, and they have taken to the streets of Defiance Bay and the dirt roads of many distant settlements to make their case to the general public. Some point to this as a source of recent surge in vigilantism and violence in the country. As I have stated, not much is known about this group by the world at large because they don't welcome outsiders into their numbers. While many believe they are xenophobic and openly hostile to all who enter Air Glanfath, the truth doesn't seem to be as broad or deadly, and certainly not that simple. There are many places in Air Glanfath that could be called magical or sacred to the Glanfathans. One legend states that the Ingwithans, who had suddenly abandoned their kingdom and left for places unknown, took the time to guide the ancient Glanfathan tribes into the now vacant land. The Glanfathans were gifted with fertile areas as their new homeland, but in return for being given such a gift, an oath was required. The Glanfathans were instructed to protect the Ingwithan ruins until such a day as they could return and reclaim the ruins. They were required to swear that no living person, including the Glanfathans themselves, would be permitted entrance into the ruins. Differing accounts suggest that the Glanfathans were promised more than a homeland, that the Glanfathans were the favored people of the gods, and that keeping their oath would confer similar benefits to the Glanfathans in the end. Oddly, the rules do not seem to apply as strictly within the borders of Twin Elms, a site built upon a large concentration of Ingwithan structures. But it would seem that this is unlikely a selective oversight on the part of the Glanfathans and more probably part of the term of the original compact. In any case, the Glanfathans came to take their role as guardians seriously, revering the sites and developing rituals designed to protect and guard the ruins. Over time, these rituals became more rote formality to some, as much legend and superstition as any other stories passed down. This is not to say the Glanfathans ceased all attempts to uphold their oath. See the section about the 10 Years Treaties in my book about the Admeth Hadret. But the intense devotion of the oath tends to vary from tribe to tribe and clan to clan. Not so with the Fangs, however. The Fangs are a group joined not by the ties of kinship or even community, but of belief. Of all the groups of Air Glanfath, it is the Fangs who seem most intent on keeping the promise their ancestors made to the Ingwithans. Just because their fanaticism and zeal are not as widely sweeping as many think, does not make them any less dangerous. The Fangs are not known for to reason with those who they view as transgressors. If they feel you have in any way violated the sanctity of a sacred space, their judgment is swift and exact. The reports of the Fangs attacks can be found in records dating back to the first colonial exploration of Air Glanfath, and even the smallest of perceived slights can be worthy of execution. The order itself seems to consist mainly of hunters. Whether they are recruited as skilled hunters or trained once they gain access to the order, it is unknown. From all accounts, once they join the Fangs, hunting game falls second behind patrolling Air Glanfath and protecting the ruins. So it is this author's opinion, that it is the former. Doesn't say who the author is, of course. Oh, there's another book back here.
Will do.
A grafted soul is obscured from the sight of the gods. It spreads freely like a blood fever. but doesn't kill its host. No, I will be a fever of the spirit. Invisible, unstoppable, eternal.
Interesting. Might have been part of the original Lengrath. Part of their soul, at least.
Swift and quiet now.
Wait, look there.
Oh?
I don't like this. I don't like any of this. This is all bad. We're all leaving.
Yeah?
It all hurts.
Yep. Yeah, it will. Just get out and dimensional shift at airback. Yeah, there we go. We're just gonna nuke everything. Celestial Sporling, great. Crushing Doom on that.
Not to alarm you, but I'm slowly dying of poison.
Wait, is he on? Oh no. Oh, thank God.
Oh?
I think that this is a phenomenal time to hit all of those.
Help me God, I'll rook the next one of you who takes aim at me.
Yeah.
Hmm. Did it? Yeah, it did actually receive Console Hot's Crushing Doom. So that'll go until it dies, hopefully. Oh, that's Adair. How long does this domination last? Charmed for 1 round.
Nope.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. Instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just paralyze him.
Kind of stuck over here.
Yeah, you're fine. We're just making sure you can't do any more damage.
What can I do you for?
Okay. Now then. Let's see here. This spore-infested librarian is going to be a problem. However, he's humanoid, so we can turn him into a pig.
Something you need?
Okay.
No rush, but if you have any antidotes handy, I'd be much obliged.
Uh-huh.
Aye.
Whoops. Death Ray.
That looks complicated.
Oops, I just passed a turn. Did not mean to do that. Did not mean to do that in the slightest. Also, that didn't last as long as I was hoping it would, unfortunately. Okay, Adair is still controlled. Okay, thank you, Adair. Fantastic. Good show, mate.
Did you know you reek of that hagfish you carry? Dispose of it at once.
Oh, Jesus.
Candied nuts? Pardon me as I indulge myself.
See here. Ow. This is still much better than just being in the air. Wow, what the hell just happened there?
Happy to oblige.
Right, right. It's an illusion spell, and one of the abilities of that scepter is that it can duplicate illusion spells. I forgot about that. Okay, so it's still being affected by the cleansing flame.
Let's reap this whirlwind.
I forgot that that can do that too.
Yeah.
Would you stop?
Something I can do?
It's almost dead. It is in fact so goddamn close to dead. Adair, do you have... You do not have that. Okay, so we're just gonna buff you.
Leave it to me.
Still getting... Oh.
Yes?
Debilitating strike. Devastating blow. I was kind of hoping that that would do more.
Huh? Sure. Uh-huh.
Grimoire Slam? Grimoire Slam.
Hmm?
Oh my god, it's not dead yet. How is it not dead yet?
We need all hands on deck here.
Let's reap this whirlwind.
Man, we didn't even get it. This one librarian has just effed us over. So friggin' badly.
Something you need?
Not to alarm you, but I'm slowly dying of poison.
Would you stop friggin' healing?
Happy to oblige.
I will lightning bolt you if you don't. Jesus, they have a ton of health. Oh, come on. He just heals 60 health in one turn.
How may I help? These uns are in for a walloping.
Happy to oblige.
Finally.
Not to alarm you, but I'm slowly dying of poison. Brenthas! Oh?
Okay, that is some bull crap right there. I'm not allowing that.
Something you need?
Not to alarm you, but I'm slowly dying of poison.
On his feet.
I would appreciate you not being charmed, dude.
Insufferable.
Love root beyond seek. Yeah.
Would you just... How much health does this damn thing have? I know that it's regenerating, but I just hit it with 121 damage when it was already near death.
Get thrashed.
That must hurt.
It did. Oh my god, it's finally dead.
You want some trouble, Botso?
Yes? Yeah! Ah! They'll not get us both! What do you need?
Another withers on the vine.
Jeez, these hurt.
Even
These
me.
infested librarians are awful. They're so tanky. At a complete odd to the original librarians.
I think not.
Hey, we had some good times.
Thankfully, they don't actually have that much offensive capability. Otherwise, this would be really bad.
Hey, we had some good times.
Really? We're going to lose, of all people, Adair.
Happy to oblige.
How long does that reduce healing? Communal carnage.
Mola ixi honor.
Come at me, Postenago.
What can I do you for?
Hmm? That must hurt.
I don't know what it just did. What does Burrowed Instinct do?
Come at me, Postenago.
What do you need?
There we go.
Hmm? Hey. Well, don't see why not.
Somehow Adair survived that. God, these are getting harder as we go down.
Oh?
I've got it.
You have only delayed your death.
Yes?
Unfortunately, Sephi still has it, one of the debuffs. The Light of Dawn, a Raid Saren morality play, part 1. charity, and generosity. Characters in order of appearance. Man, man a ghostly being, female a ghostly being, beggar, starving man, injured man. Setting, empty field, no trees or buildings in sight. A man lies on the ground center stage. He wakes slowly and looks around. Two ghostly beings approach him. A male from stage left, a female from stage right. Where am I? What has happened? Nothing has happened. How did I get here? You did not arrive. You are just here. What is going on? You are traveling. We will travel with you. They both reach out a hand to him insistently. He looks at them, not sure what to do. After a few moments of deliberation, he takes the male's hand and allows him to help. His soul is strong. This decision will be easy. Such arrogance surely will be your undoing. They walk to the end of the stage and encounter a beggar holding out a bowl. Will you help the needy? Will you hear the call of charity? What will you do for those less fortunate? Here is a beggar. What will you do? He has no food, no clothes. He is destitute, and will surely die if no mercy is shown to him. Surely he deserves no mercy. Look to his legs. Do they not move? Look to his arms. Can they not work? Look into his eyes. Can they not see? Surely he can provide for himself. What will you do? The man ponders for a moment, then reaches into his pocket and drops a coin in the beggar's bowl. Thank you, sir. May your charity come back to you in turn. Why did you give alms to this beggar? I saw a man in need. It is not for me to say he deserves mercy, only when I need to provide mercy if I am able. I have the means to help, so I help. If he had the ability to provide for himself and does not, then it is in his head, not mine. If I can provide the light of dawn to a man in need, it is my duty to do so. Just duding. Just interrupting. How you doing, Zatar? You enjoying it? They walk to the other edge of the stage, leaving the beggar behind. They approach a starving man, who puts out his hand in supplication. A crust, a morsel, please. Surely generosity will not allow you to stand by and let someone starve. This man is starving. What will you do? He is on the brink of death. Only an act of generosity will save him. What need has this man that he cannot provide for himself? Why should you turn over that which you earned to one who has done no such act and deserves nothing from you? What will you do? Again, the man considers what he will do. He reaches into his pocket and retrieves a piece of bread and gives it to the starving man. Thank you, good sir. May your generosity be returned to you tenfold. Why did you give food to the hungry? I saw a man who hungered. It is not for me to say if he deserves a morsel, only that I need to provide a morsel if I am able. I have the food to spare, so I give. If I can open a man's eyes to light, it is my duty to do so. He knows generosity, even disguised as a starving man. His heart is giving. Even those with a giving heart can be greedy. We will continue our journey. I've already read this one, so I'm not actually going to go into it. The Writ of Brenthas Terega. On order of the most holy Brenthas to be executed forthwith until withdrawn. Jedepharlus the Ancient grows restless of late. Seek additional bodies with which to satiate the beast. The boundary for patrolling the island shall expand by 15 leagues. Do not forget, The ancient prefers larger game when possible. May the goddess burn ever stronger within you. Brenthas Terega. That's in reference to the dragon that we ended up talking away. It's a title. Yeah. So, we actually ended up talking to them earlier. Brenthas was basically, it's effectively a priest. Now, the other thing that they were talking about, the beast that they were referring to, was the dragon in Rethun.
Why is your ignorant farmer winking at me?
Dude, I don't fucking know. He does that. Alright. Did I already? Yeah, I already read this one. Oh! Someone has scrawled the lyrics to a traditional sailor shanty on the ragged scraps of paper. I found my spine on the dead fire lines. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. From a Deerwood babe to a sailor fine. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. Now dead fire routes, they make good time. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. With the clear wide straits and inlets fine. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. What? What's wrong with my singing? It's a sea shanty. Yeah, I'm not just gonna read it. What's the point of a song if you just read it? Anyway, I'm gonna keep singing. You just can't sing and it's amazing. Aww. Oh. Okay, where was I? Oh, there's the lines where you can shine. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. There's the lines where I spent my prime. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. Just take a trip to Port Maget. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. To Port Maget where the sailors stay. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. Then Valiant captains you'll see there. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. With their knee-high boots and fine dark hair. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. Oh, around Cape White to Port Maget. Jesus, that was terrible. Oh, around Cape White to Port Maget. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. Oh, around Cape White is a damn long way. Hurrah for dead fire lines. Around Cape White with a skysail set. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. Around Cape White and we're wringing wet. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. Well, if we drown when we are young, hurrah for the dead fire lines. It's better to be drowned than hung. Hurrah for the dead fire lines. I do like sea shanties. Also, the point of sea shanties is largely that you have enough people singing them that it doesn't matter. Also, hey, Bakarna's depleted grimoire. Just gonna grab that. Also, Skaenite scripture, which I already read last time that we found it. The Deerwood. I don't know, man. I'd like to be a good singer, but I'm tone deaf. I thought I was doing okay. Also, it looks like we have an entire 6-book history on the Deerwood. I'm not going to read this one because we kind of already know this. from the first game. I'm just going to save you all time and not read all of that. Not so tough poetry. Nope. On the provenance and ruination of Nakataka's old city. Shit goes south fast. No, it actually went okay. It's more like everything's looking up. Because the whole idea with Deerwood is that it was previously it was a colony of Adir. Eventually ended up having a revolution and throwing out the old, or the influence of the old empire. Had a lot of bloody combat between the Glenfathans and the colonists. And eventually they sided with the Glenfathans, had a long revolution, and threw out all of Adir's influence. No, Adir, not Adair. There's an ear in there. There's no... Excerpt from a lecture given before the annual convention of the Academy of Architectural Historians in Adir. Close examination by learned parties suggests that Nakataka is significantly older than it might at first appear. We take as our example the suppurating wound in the city's side, which the locals most charmingly refer to as... Oh, I've already read this. I remember this. A recent history of Queen's birth, the arrival of the Valians. Excerpt from a letter to Winge... I'm going to assume that's Winge Wadaraki, a Huana historian, from the collection of his personal writings. The Valians' arrival in Nakataka was not unexpected. Our fisherfolk had watched them lurk near the edges of our territory for months, their ships like the keen eyes of a jeweler, inspecting us, already counting the coin they'd make on a prize as so fine as the Deadfire. And they were not the first to watch us, so doubtless they will not be the last. We were not certain what it was they wanted, at first, aside from whatever it was they had. When Onakaza sent an envoy of Mataru to speak with them, they made noise about desiring trade and cultural exchange. What, exactly, it was they intended to trade, or what manner of cultural exchange they thought might entice us, wasn't immediately clear. You're gonna hop off? Want a smidge of YouTube before sleepy time? Oh shit, it's 10:16. I'm gonna finish this and then end. We were not naive. We knew their arrival spelled change for the Deadfire as surely as we knew the rain falls in the monsoon season. The trouble came in how we would manage the Valian's influence, how we would contain it. Better they think us partners than easy marks. The thinking at the palace went at the time. We could not risk war with them, as fractured as people as we are. We have any hope of winning it. No matter the power of our water shapers. As the leader of the Kahanga, Onakaza decided for us. She allowed the Valians to set down roots in Queensbirth and begin limiting mining operations in the archipelago. She suggests this might ease trade and tensions between our people and theirs, but in truth, I believe she only wanted to keep an eye on them. I sympathize with her point of view, but I cannot endorse it, because Onakaza forgot the truth of roots. That they are silent, grasping hands of trees, and that a tree, once established, cannot be moved without destroying the ground around it. But it was done. The Valians quickly made themselves at home, and the ensuing conflict over who had the rights to which islands, which adravanes, which trading routes, only served to fracture the Huana further. Then the Rawatayans arrived. By that point, it was too late. The colonials were in the Deadfire to stay. Now, Huana refugees flood into Nekataka from across the archipelago, complaining of lost land and dwindling resources, and the trading companies fight a quiet war against each other with our doorsteps as the front. And God he guide us in this trying time. I've already read that one. Thick verdigris patina across the copper orb, locking it in place. Well, this is unpleasant. Note on the imp. I will hear no further argument on the matter. You were the one who permitted that chittering loudmouth to roam the collections freely for your amusement. Now that it's escaped, you are responsible for fetching it back. You must also locate the pilfered artifacts. The Oracle warned us twice about keeping magic away from imps. On the bright side, this will prove a capital opportunity to test our milking procedure on a swollen imp. This will be good practice for subduing Nimnok before his devoted following grows beyond our ability to control. Already read this. Rusted armor. Nimnok, you say? Alright, we're going to go ahead and save and wrap up here. Thank you to everyone who has been watching. Thank you to Tenace Gaines, Zevgrin, Slime Hunter, Walks with Gorillas, my dad, Kremlin Kev, Desalona, Miss Mango Plays, NBFF, Alpha Mango, and Kowok for continuing to support the stream. I'm going to send you guys all off to someone else, and hope to see you all again soon. You know what? Let's go ahead and raid Roseguard. Looks like we both are not doing so hot in viewership right now, so might as well support.